Okay. Today we are going to work with more reported speech. If you remember yesterday and the day before, we started with reported speech. Today we are going to move to a new topic, which is reporting questions. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Reporting questions. The technique used here is the same with reported speech. We go one step back to the past, we change the pronouns, but here we don't add that. That is not added, we add something different. Before we start, we have to know the difference between types of questions. How many types of questions do we have?
يا ماما أنا فاتحة الحصة.
Mute yourself, please. Mute yourself. Okay. Now, I recommend that everyone mute yourself. Only unmute yourself when you are asked any question. If the teacher asks you to answer any questions, you can unmute yourself. Okay? Now, there are two types of questions. The first type is WH questions and yes/no questions. WH questions means what? The question starts with a word that starts with WH, like why, who, whom, when, where, and what. How often, how many, how much. These are called WH questions because it starts with a word, and this word starts with WH, the letters WH. Yes/no questions are questions that start with helping verbs. They start with helping verbs. And the answer is either yes or no. Let's take this example. I have this question. Can you see this slide?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I have to move this part. Okay. Example, sorry. Oh. Sam said to me, he said to me, are you hungry? Are you hungry? When I ask you this question, are you hungry? It's either you say yes or no. If I asked you, are you coming to the party? You say yes or no. If I ask you, will you go to Paris? Will you travel to Paris? You can answer with yes or no. This is why these questions are called yes/no questions. They are called yes/no questions because the answer is either yes or no. But if the question starts with why, when, where, what, who, how often, how many, we call these WH questions. And the structure is different. Now, we start with reporting yes/no questions. Reporting yes/no questions. Yes/no questions, the answer is either yes or no, and it starts with a helping verb or an auxiliary or a modal verb. Take this one. Are you hungry? He asked me a question. Are you hungry? How can I report this question? How can I repeat her question? There is only one way that you say, she asked me, she asked who? She asked me if I was hungry. She asked me if I was hungry. Here, you remember reported speech, we added that. Here we add F, we add F. She asked me if I was hungry. And why do you think I said I was hungry? Because it's the same rule. We go one step back to the past. This is with the tense, this is with the verb. We go one step back to the past. And the helping verb here is are. It's not a helping verb, it's the main verb here. Are. So what's the past tense of are? Was. Teacher.
Teacher, if here it's optional like that.
No, it's not optional. So, but the pronoun me is optional.
Okay.
So you can say Sam asked me if I was hungry, and you can say Sam asked if I was hungry. So me, she asked me, I can delete me and it will be correct.
Yeah, so we have
you don't want to use F, you can use whether. You can use whether instead of F. So it's correct if you say, Sam asked me whether I was hungry or angry. If or whether, okay? We'll move to this step by step, okay? I like it when we move and work together step by step. It's not complicated if you take it in the correct order. Sam asked me if I was hungry. I said we add F only when with W, H questions, or yes, no questions. WH questions or yes, no questions?
Teacher, can you repeat the question?
Yes, please.
Yes, no questions. Yes, no questions. Questions that starts with auxiliaries like is, are, was or were, or questions that start with modal verbs like can and will, or
Both.
do, or does, or did, or what? We said
When, maybe.
helping verbs. No. When and what and where are called WH questions.
WH question.
We add F with yes, no questions. Complicated, I know. Slowly, take it step by step. Here, it's incorrect to say, now count the numbers, it's line 4 in the table. Incorrect to say, Sam asked me that I was hungry. We don't use that. We use F, not that, okay? Move to the following part. Sam asked me if I was hungry. Some asked me whether I was hungry. Lynn asked if we delete F. No, we don't delete F. But if you don't want to use F, you can use whether. Whether is correct in yes, no questions. In reporting, yes, no questions. And whether here has the same meaning as F. Whether here has the same meaning as F. Now, you can also delete, I said that, you can also delete the pronoun, the object pronoun. Instead of saying, she asked me if I was hungry, you can say, she asked if I was hungry, you can delete me. The teacher says we use if and where, and we use, of course, we start, we introduce our sentence with, she asked, he asked. But if you don't want to use asked, or for example, if you are writing a story, and it will be very boring and redundant to use the same verb. He asked, she asked, they asked. It's very boring, okay? You can think of different verbs to introduce the reported question. You can, instead of asked, use wanted to know. Look at this sentence. Sam wanted to know if I was hungry. Wanted to know has the same meaning of asked. You can also use Sam wondered if I was hungry. Wondered has the same meaning of asked. Sam inquired whether or not I was hungry. Inquired whether or not I was hungry. It's also another technique to report questions. These are correct. If you don't want to use asked all the time, you can change the verb and use wanted to know, wondered, inquired whether or not. Okay? Okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Now, can you see the following slide?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Excellent. Now, here we have an example. A is talking to B. Are you ready? Jim asked me, and we can delete this me. If I am ready, or Jim asked me if I was ready. Why here I kept the tense? Why do you think? Remember something we said yesterday. Sometimes we keep the tense. We don't change the tense. When? What do we call this case?
When
Moment
it's
Yes, with immediate reporting. Immediate reporting in informal speech. Immediate
Yes.
reporting. When I report something immediately, we keep the tense. And again, this is only used with informal use of English. So in writing, don't never ever think of using this, okay? Because writing, we use which style? We use formal style. In writing, we use formal style. This is only in informal speech, not writing, and in immediate reporting. And you have to be very careful to understand the meaning of immediate reporting. You report something immediately, on spot, at the moment of speech, okay? Now, guys, ladies and gentlemen, please, someone is talking. Please mute yourselves and when I ask you, you can unmute yourself. And today I closed the chat because in the previous days, some of the guys were talking and using inappropriate language while chatting with each other. I'm not going to do anything for that. I'm not going to call any parents because I trust you. I know that you reflect your attitude and your beliefs and thoughts. Please behave well, respect your teacher, respect your colleagues, okay? Thank you. Now let's move to the questions. Don't use the informal style. This is only for your knowledge. Why do you think I'm giving you this? Because if you hear native speakers using reporting speech or reporting questions and they keep the tense, don't say they are using bad English or incorrect English. No, what they are using is correct because it's immediate reporting in informal speech. Let's move to the questions. Number one, I want Hassan. Hassan. Hamza. Karam. Ali. Muhammad. Muhannad.
Teacher, can I answer Muhammad?
Who is it?
Muhammad.
Muhammad, please do.
Okay, report the following question. Do you know my cousin?
Start
He
with he asked me.
Yeah, he asked me. Okay, so
What do we add?
we add the quotation marks at first.
I'll help you. We add F. Continue. He asked me F.
But
he asked me
he asked me if I know I know his cousin.
Excellent. His cousin. Yes. He asked me if I knew his cousin. Be careful for the pronouns. Very smart, Muhammad. This is very smart. Muhammad paid attention to the pronoun. My cousin becomes his cousin. Try to understand the meaning of the sentence. Ali is talking to Muhammad. Ali asks Muhammad, do you know my cousin? Ali asked Muhammad if he knew his cousin. Here, we use the verb asked. Of course, you can use me or delete me. Both are correct. But the most important thing is to add F. When do we add F? Only yes, no questions. Yes, no questions. Questions like this one, which start with a helping verb or auxiliary or a modal verb, not with a WH word. Remember, not WH words. If is added when we report yes, no questions. He asked me if I knew his cousin. We go one step back to the past with the verb and we change the pronouns. Yes, miss.
Miss, I have a question. Can we say he asked me if I have known his cousin?
Why? What is the original?
Had known, sorry. Had known.
What is the original tense?
No.
Do you know? Present simple. With the present simple, what is the first, the tense before you go one step back is simple past. This is a present simple. You have to try to make a timeline for your tenses, here, now, past, and future, and work accordingly. Okay?
So we should always change it to verb to?
No, no, no. What? It's not verb to everywhere. Here it's verb to. Because the original sentence is in the present simple. Be careful for the original sentence. What is the tense? Here it's present simple. So we go one step back to the past. It becomes simple past. Okay?
Okay, thank you, teacher.
You are welcome.
Teacher, can I answer the next one?
Who is it?
Jude.
Judy الحلوة. Number 2, yes, Jude.
He wondered if
No, 2.
I could speak French.
Yes, read. Can you speak French?
Can you speak French?
Yes.
He wondered if I could speak French.
Excellent. She didn't use ask here. She used wondered. Excellent. He wondered if I could
speak
French. But here, for, my answer, I used asked. Of course, you can use wondered or what else? Wanted to know.
Wanted
to know. He asked me if I could speak French. In the exam, if I gave you sentences and asked you to correct the mistakes, and here I deleted me, is it a mistake?
No.
No, it's
No.
not a mistake because me here is optional. You can use it, you can delete it. Okay? Now, sentence 3. Jana Nashwan, are you there, dear? Jana Nashwan?
Yes, miss.
Jana,
Hi.
try to work with sentence 3.
Okay. Did you enjoy your vacation?
Yeah?
Okay. He
Did
wondered.
enjoy your vacation. Be careful here. It's already in the simple past. Already in the simple past. Yes.
He wondered if I had enjoyed my vacation.
My vacation. Excellent. And there is another answer. If I had enjoyed, and you can keep it.
If I enjoyed my vacation.
Bravo, bravo. Thank you. He asked
Thank
me,
you.
or he wondered, or wanted to know. He asked me if I enjoyed or had enjoyed my vacation. Clear? If I enjoyed or had enjoyed my vacation. In your CS exams, there is a question, a whole page. The question says, rewrite the sentences, rewrite sentences. You will be given reported speech sentences. If you make any mistake with the pronouns, you don't get anything, no marks. Because for each sentence, it's only 1 mark. It's either you write it correctly or you lose the mark. So if you did everything perfectly and you make mistakes with the verbs or the pronouns, you lose the mark. So you have to be very accurate, punctual, and careful when you work with the grammar, okay? Grammar means everything in the sentence. You don't change only one thing. Everything is related. It's a whole unit, 1 unit. So the sentence, it's either it's correct or wrong. There is nothing in between here with the grammar. Do number 4, Miss.
Teacher,
هذا هزة.
teacher, I want to ask you.
Yes, Zena,
Teacher, I have a question.
please.
We added had here because did is in the past form or
It's already
what?
in the past. If it's already in the past, it's either it stays past, simple past, or past perfect.
Okay.
Both are correct. Now, I called someone, Nada Hazza, I think.
Yes, no.
Yes.
Nadush, the last one.
Yes.
Number 4.
He asked me if I was going to take another English course.
Amazing. He asked me if I was going to take another English course. This sentence is very easy. Why? Because we changed one thing. We added F, and are you going becomes I was going. The pronoun is changed, of course. We are done with the pronouns. You know how to change the pronouns. If you feel that you have difficulties understanding how to change pronouns, think of the sentence. Try to imagine 2 people talking to each other. It's easier for you. I used to do this when I was in your age. If you can't decide what pronoun to use, try to imagine 2 people talking to each other. For example, Ali and Ahmed, Hassan and Karam talking to each other. Ali is asking this question. Hassan answers him. Try to imagine, this will make it easier for you when you work with pronouns, okay? Now, move to the following slide. Can you see the next slide?
Yes.
Okay. Number 5. Number 5. Sarah Razan, are you there?
Yeah.
Susu, 5.
Hi.
Hello.
Will you be at home tonight?
You'll be at home tonight?
He asked me if
Sarah, Hanin asked you this question. Sarah, will you be at home tonight? You say what? Hanin asked me, or she asked me what?
if I would be
If I would be at home.
home tonight.
No,
لا.
not tonight.
Wait. Last night?
That night.
That night.
That night. Refer it to the past. She asked me, or he asked me, or you can add any name. He asked me, or she asked me, or they asked me, or the teacher asked me, anything. If I would be at home that night. We are reporting everything in the sentence, not only the verb, not only the pronouns, even the keywords, the time expressions should be changed. We report everything in the sentence because I told you, the sentence is 1 unit, 1 unit. Move to number 6, please. تاء الأرقاق.
Yes, teacher.
Work with me, Tala. Let's
Okay.
do number 6 together. Have you ever been in Mexico? The teacher asks Tala, Tala, have you ever been in Mexico? Tala, she tell you what?
He asked me if I have ever been in Mexico.
Yes, he asked me if I had ever been in Mexico. No one asked me this question. Miss, we are reporting questions. Why don't we use a question mark at the end?
This is reported. It's not like the
It's
question. It's not,
reported.
Yes,
it's
yes,
not
yes.
direct.
We are reporting questions. We are not asking questions. Be careful, I'm not asking a question. I'm reporting someone's question. It's not my question. I'm reporting someone's question. Move to number 7.
Can I solve 7?
Where's Haneen? Haneen? Hello, hello?
Yes,
Haneen?
yes, teacher.
Haneen, yes. Number 7 is yours.
Okay. She wanted to know if I could hear her.
Excellent. She wanted to know if I could hear her, or he asked me if I could hear him. Now, I used him here because I started with he. Haneen started with she, so she used her. So the pronouns are very tricky. They should match the antecedent. Okay? If I change this sentence and said, she asked me or she wanted to know if I could hear her. Or maybe I can ask you, for example, Karam and Hamza are there. Yes, Karam and Hamza. Karam and Hamza asked me if I could hear. Karam and Hamza asked me if I could hear them. Excellent. And so the pronoun is attached to what? The subject. Be careful. It's a whole unit. We change everything. It should make sense. Move to 8. Mariam.
Can I do it?
Mariam.
Okay, teacher.
Who is it?
Maria.
Mariam al-Asal. Mariam, 8.
Okay, are you listening to me? He wanted to know if I was listening to him.
To him?
I mean,
Yes. He asked me, or he wanted to know, or he wondered if I was listening to him. By the way, we don't say listening, miss. It's listening. It's not listening. It's listening, okay? Be careful when you pronounce this verb. He wondered, or he wanted to know, or he asked if I was listening to him. Can I delete this me? Can I say he asked if I was listening to him?
Yes.
I'm telling you, yes, we can.
Yes.
We can delete the object pronoun me. 9, and 9 is for, 9 is for whom? 9 is for.
Can I do it?
Sarah Zuhbi, are you there, honey? Sarah Zuhbi, Sarah Zuhbi. Hamza.
Yes.
Sarah Zuhbi.
Yes.
Yes, Sarah, 9. Do you need any help?
He asked me if I needed any help.
Amazing. He asked me if I needed any help, or she asked me, or the teacher asked me, or they wondered if I needed any help. Use any question verb you want. Karam. Karam. Okay. Mohanad al-Humari.
Sure. Can I do it?
Who is
Sure.
it? Who is it?
Muhammad.
Muhannad. Muhannad. Someone else is talking. Muhannad and whom?
He asked me if I finished my
Who is it?
homework.
Who is that? Who's talking now?
Muhammad.
Muhannad. Do number 10.
He asked me if I finished my homework.
He asked me if I finished my homework. It's already in the simple past, so you keep the simple past. Excellent. Or you can use what? He asked me if I finished or had finished my homework. If the original sentence is already in the simple past, you can keep the simple past or use the past perfect. Don't forget to change the pronouns. Clear?
Clear.
Questions?
Miss, what's the difference if we like said had finished or finished? Still the same?
The same, honey, the same. No differences. No differences
Okay.
at all.
Yeah.
The same. Okay. Now we are done with reporting yes, no questions. Let's go to reporting WH questions. By the way, this one is easier. This one is easier. Why? The same technique, change the verb, change the pronoun, but we don't use F, we keep the WH word. We keep the WH word. I'm going to read this slide. Work with me, please, step by step, reporting WH questions. When the direct question begins with a question word like who, where, how, when, what, how often, how many, how much, and other words, the reported question is introduced, not with F. We don't use F. It's introduced with what? With the same
WH.
question word. With the same question word. This one is easier. Why? No need to add F. There is no need to add F. We keep the WH word, the WH question word. Examples. The first one. Where is the post office, please? Someone asked. Where is the post office, please? This is a direct question. Hassan is reporting. He asked me where. Look, we kept where. I take this where and use it here. Where the post office was. Remember, we don't say, he asked me where was the post office. No, where the post office was, the helping verb goes to the end of the sentence because it's not a question, it's a statement here. Tricky, difficult, the teacher will repeat. Do you remember in grade 5 when you started taking and working with the questions, how to make a questions, the teacher told you to make a question, we switch. Switch what? We switch the helping verb. For example, if I have a sentence, I am hungry, make this a question. Is she hungry? For example, is she hungry? We start with the helping verb. For example, is he a student? Is he a student? He is a student. He is a student. Is he a student? We switch. We switch the helping verb with the subject. This is what we are going to do here, but in the opposite way. It's already a question. I'm not changing a statement to a question. You already have a question. So you move the helping verb after the subject. Helping verb after the subject. In questions, the helping verb is before the subject. In statements, the helping verb or the verb is after the subject. So you can't say, he asked me, where was the post office? Because if you say, where was the post office, this is a question, not a statement. We are reporting a question, I wanted a statement. There is no need to switch the helping verb and put it before the subject because it's a statement. So I say, he asked me where the post office was, because it's not a question. Another example, where do you live? Hassan, where do you live? Maria asked me where I live. Look, the verb is after the subject. The verb is after the subject. I will summarize this again. In WH words, when you report WH questions, you keep the WH word. You keep the WH word. What should I do? I switch. Because in questions, the subject comes after the helping verb. The subject comes after the helping verb. Here, I'm not writing a question. I'm reporting a question. So what I am going to write is a statement. A statement. And with the statements, you take the helping verb and put it after the subject. Again, in questions, the helping verb is before the subject. In statements, the subject is before the helping verb. You switch, okay? When we do the questions, it will be easier for you. Let's do question 1. Who didn't answer anything at all? Yes.
Teacher, Hala didn't.
Hala? Hala? Hello, hello. Hala? Yeah, Hala.
Yeah, teacher.
Hala, good morning. I'm keeping this sentence for you, Hala. Do number 1.
Okay. Report the following questions. Where's your apartment?
Where is your apartment? The teacher
He
said, where is your apartment? What is the subject? Your apartment. The helping verb here. Sorry, it's not a helping verb here. It's a main verb. Is your apartment. So we have to switch. Okay? Switch.
He
How
asked
can
me
you
where
report this?
he asked me where my apartment was.
Amazing. He asked me where my apartment was. Was is in, we put it at the end of the sentence. He asked me where my apartment was. And we go one step back to the past and we keep the WH word. Where, 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 where. You don't add F. We add F only with yes, no questions. Do we have a time watcher today? Judy,
The class finished.
what?
Yeah.
It's supposed to end by now.
It's 10:15 now.
Yes, it's 10.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for that. Okay, we will continue tomorrow. Thank you for joining me. When I work with you, I don't feel the time. I feel very excited and I want to stay with you for a longer time. Thank you for today.
Thank you,
Thank you,
teacher.
teacher.
Questions? WH question? Yes, miss. Okay. Go over your lessons. Of course, you have a grammar booklet, if you remember. Some students came to school and got it. Start answering questions, okay? Have a nice day. Thank you for joining me for today.
Thank you, teacher.
Thank you, teacher.
Bye.